With the frenzy of NFL free agency in the rearview mirror, we now turn our attention to the NFL draft, just over a month away from finding out where the top picks are heading. But in the meantime, Mel Kiper Jr. is helping us out with his latest version of his mock draft. So the quarterbacks flying off the board. According to Mel, he has Cam Ward going to the Titans with the first pick, Shedeur Sanders to the Giants at number 3, and now Jackson Dart also in the top 10 at number 9 to the Saints. But the question is, how good are these guys actually? Mel Kiper Jr., we know how good he is. Great to see you, friend. How we feeling? How we doing?
Buddy. Good to be Molly. We're doing good, Molly. 3.0 was fun to do because of the quarterback, so we'll get started right on that.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so Mel, tell me this. Who do you project will be the better NFL quarterback? Is it Cam or Shedeur?
I'm going to go Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to be steadfast in that. I've had him number 1, QB1 all along, really since last year, and love everything about the kid. I mean, if you say, well, he takes too many sacks. Yes, he has to get the ball out a tick faster, but he dealt with NFL conditions. Shannon, Stephen A., we talk about that. Who had to deal with what you're going to deal with in the NFL, what you're going to have to survive in the NFL. He survived hit after hit. How he did it, I don't know. He was 11 of 13 games this year at 70% or higher. He never completed less than 60% of his passes in a game. And in 2023, when he was getting pounded and getting sacked and getting hit time after time, he was at 69% and change with 27 touchdowns, 3 picks, 4 rushing touchdowns. That's 31-3 touchdown interception ratio. So to me, when you look at Shedeur, accuracy, slip and slide in the pocket. Yes, he can get you a 3rd and 8 first down. People say, well, he's going to run to 4.8. Patrick Mahomes ran 4.8, 4.84. He doesn't have an explosive arm. Neither did Johnny Unitas, Peyton Manning. Okay, we talk about explosive arms. You know, you don't need to have that. Tom Brady, another one, didn't have the explosive arm or explosive legs at 5'2", 440. So you can win in the NFL, win big in the NFL, going about your business like Shedeur Sanders does. And that's why I have a problem with all these people say he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. He's good enough in all areas, and he has the mindset to be great.
I agree with you, Mel. One of the things on your board actually shocked me. Who do you have number 2 again, going to the Cleveland Browns? That's Abdul Carter. I'm trying to figure out. Last time I checked, it's Deshaun Watson and Kenny Pickett at the quarterback spot. How the hell are the Cleveland Browns not taking a quarterback, Mel?
That's the question you have to answer on draft day and leading up to it. I got word that, hey, you got Abdul Carter. You have the wide 9s. You have Myles Garrett. You want somebody opposite him. They haven't had that. Now you get Carter to deal with all those quarterbacks in the AFC, so you can go about it that way. The reason is, too, Stephen A. and Shannon and Molly, I couldn't get a consensus at all on Shedeur. There were more naysayers on Shedeur than positive commentary. Nobody said he belongs up here in the top 5. So I kept just saying, okay, I believe the Giants, look at their situation at quarterback. Look at the division. Hurts just won a Super Bowl. Jayden's going to be phenomenal. We know that. And Prescott. So you can't be a distant 4th in a division and ever have a chance. So you got to close that gap or get right there with them. And we talk about what Eli Manning meant to the New York Giants because of his ability to deal with pressure and expectations, being Archie's son. Now you got Deion. This whole misnomer about Deion, that he was all about the circus and all about the show, is nonsense. He was all about the team and preparation and working hard and doing things the right way and being a great teammate, both in the NFL with the teams he was on, winning big, and in the Major League Baseball with the Atlanta Braves. He was a great teammate. So this notion that he's going to bring with you all this other stuff is ludicrous. It makes no sense. It's throwing stuff out there that just isn't accurate. So you hear all this stuff in March and April. Some of it is a lot of, BS. And in terms of Shedeur Sanders, a lot of it is.
Mel, let's transition to the Patriots. We see the Patriots be very active in free agency, a lot of it on the defensive side of the football. And they got a high draft pick. So where do you see them going? Best available player other than a quarterback? I mean, because they kind of need to be on the offensive side of football, seeing that they went so heavily on the defensive side of the football in free agency, and they have a defensive-minded head coach in Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I think Shannon Travis Hunter, I mean, if you can let him figure it out once he's in the NFL. We don't know if he can be great at corner or wide receiver. Shannon, if you were playing linebacker as well as tight end, would you have been a great tight end, great linebacker? You focused on one spot. And he did it all. You could move around and do a lot of things on offense. But, he focuses. And also, how about the energy and the stamina, the endurance, what he has to put into being out there every play on both sides of the ball? We talk about Shedeur surviving. How the hell did Travis Hunter survive? Are you kidding me? Playing as many plays and many snaps. He's counting guys on the field. His mindset, his football IQ is unmatched. and that's for both Shedeur and Travis. So I think when you look at Travis Hunter, to Drake May, what he would mean an awful lot. Then you could sprinkle him in a corner in those big games. You move on to the playoffs. All of a sudden, Travis can be sprinkled in there if he defines himself as a great receiver. If he doesn't, let's see if he defines himself as a lockdown corner. Either way, you can't lose. It's that safety net. One of those two spots, he's going to be really, really good, probably great. We just have to let him figure out which one it's at.
I'd be happy if the Giants took Shedeur or Travis. But I want to move on to the other quarterback you mentioned, Jackson Dart going to the Saints. So what are you hearing about the Ole Miss quarterback now that has him in the top 10, Mel?
Same thing with Bo Nix last year. I just kind of put it all together myself, and I got talked out of this in mock 4.0. But in 3.0, the same time last year, I came in and said, Bo Nix to Denver because Sean Payton may see a little Drew Brees in Bo Nix. Then I got calls saying, nah, you're too high on him. He's going second round. He's not a first rounder. He doesn't have a first round grade. And all. So, again, Jackson Dart, you're going to hear people say he's late 1, 2, whatever. He has the skill set. He certainly has the ability to make throws, accurate throws at every level. Now, he has to layer it a little bit better. All young quarterbacks have to work on that. But the legs are very underrated. He's fast. He's athletic. He's tough. He can kill a defense with his legs. I mean, you talk about what he's done, improving accuracy, completion rates every year at Ole Miss. Touchdowns went up every year at Ole Miss, yet the interceptions remained at that 5 or 6 point. And the 1,500 rushing yards over the last 3 years at Ole Miss. To me, your new head coach, Kellen Moore, in a division with 2 number-1 picks overall, Baker, and now the emerging Bryce Young, and you have Michael Penix Jr. in Atlanta, you got to keep up with the division. This isn't a force. Yeah, there's a little bit of a, you could say, reach. I think Tim Hasselbeck made the point this morning. If you take him 9, you take him 18. You're taking him in the first round. You expect him to be your guy. So for Jackson Dart, if New Orleans believes he's that guy, just like Peyton believed, hey, Nix is the right guy for my system. If Kellen Moore feels that way, you got to take him at 9.
Mel Kiper, you're not just a draft guru, you're a football guru. So I'm going to get away from the draft for a second and ask you this question, particularly when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've been hearing stuff about Russell Wilson 1 minute, Aaron Rodgers the next. Based on what you've seen, what do you think would be the best situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Which quarterback and why, based off of what you've seen?
Stephen A., I'm amazed that Justin Fields was allowed to leave the building. That was just me. I thought Justin Fields 4-2 should have been 6-0 if the defense would have done their job. Young quarterback, mid-20s, with all the talent in the world. Yes, he maybe learned a little bit from the moon balls of Russell Wilson and getting a little loft on those throws, okay, on the deeper ones, the Pickens, and now he would have a guy coming in as well when you talk about the options that they would have now. Bottom line is I would have kept Justin Fields. They didn't. So to answer your question, Aaron Rodgers, when you think about Pittsburgh and that division, you have to go that route. As I said, I'm just amazed that Justin Fields isn't a Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought for sure. He even said at the end of the year, people said, well, he didn't want to be there because of the waivers. He said at the end of the year,